Man, what's up YouTube? It's George back here with another tutorial. Just kidding, this is my first one, we're gonna see how this goes. Anyway, I just released that LaCroix ad, that free ad I made for them because I'm trying to get sponsored. Also check this, LaCroix hat, LaCroix t-shirt, and a LaCroix running quarter zip. Man, if I don't get sponsored this summer, I don't know what's gonna happen. Anyway. Alright, so I'm going to do a little breakdown because I was doing some new effects, messing with some 3D stuff, and I had like a couple people that were interested. So even if like 5 people watch this, man, that's better than nothing, right? So yeah, let's get into it. The very base was like these, just kind of like the base footage. So I kind of just edited that together in like a pretty super simple, I think it was like 3 different shots. So you saw right there, that's like me pretending to be reacting to the LaCroix that's dropping down. Cut, and then I just did some swiping, and I had my roommate Cosmo kind of help make sure I was like in the same area and the framing was correct, because it was all this kind of imagining how it was actually going to work, obviously because the cans weren't actually there. And the only like kind of complicated editing I had to do was this one right there, where you kind of grab it out of the air. Let's see, I'll zoom in on that. I had to do some like, what did I do? Oh, I had to make a mask because the lighting was a little bit different between the shots. You see that? So that's kind of the idea is like that. But this mask, let's see if we can pull it up, just kind of makes it so that the lighting transition is a little bit more smooth. So you see it just kind of over like 4 frames, just kind of cuts through the whole thing. So if we didn't have this shot, it would look something like this. That was just like a little trick. It honestly didn't make it that much better. I still think it's a little bit jumpy. I can still kind of see the lighting change, but that was the only like weird editing I had to do for that part. And then all the complicated stuff was just in the actual like spinning LaCroix, the LaCroix deal. So anyway, yeah, that was kind of the base, so I knew the timing and everything, and when I'm animating later, I could time it to me swiping and grabbing and stuff like that. So yeah, the first thing I did, let's see if it loads. That's the other thing, so since it's actual footage of these cans spinning and then a frame by frame mask, or I should probably go through that. It's super slow. Like I'm on quarter resolution right here, and I have like a decent computer plugged in and everything, and it still this will not run. The first thing I did just to make sure that I was able to do what I wanted to do was just do the continuous loop like this. So that's where this video is, just black screen, just kind of like a test in a way. I'm drinking that flavor right there. See? And that's when I grabbed in the video too, which is kind of funny. Alright, so how it originally started, let's go into one of these comps on comps on comps. If we take out all of these, let's just like break this down a little bit, you know? So we have a mask, we have a key light effect, so if we take that off, that's what you see. Watch, I'll just delete the mask for a second. That's the shot right there. So that's what the raw footage of each of the shots looks like. It's me, I just have this really beat up Goodwill Lazy Susan that I use for this kind of stuff, and then I have one of those like pop out green screens, and I'm just doing it outside where the lighting was decently the same. So yeah, that's kind of the, let's put that mask back on, put the key light back on, and then I had to do this weird thing, so like the key light was not working very well because obviously cans are a little bit reflective. So the green from behind was like showing up on the sides of the reflection of the cans. So as you can see here, it's actually transparent a little bit. So all I did was just duplicate it like 10 times, and then it kind of filled it up a little bit more. So it's just like a weird hack. And that's another reason it runs so slow, is because each 5 cans all spinning each have 10 layers of video. So it was just a stupid little hack I had to do. This is just one rotation, is kind of the deal. And these masks, by the way, if we zoom in, we can look at them. It's just kind of keeping it tight. The green screen ideally would have just worked and I wouldn't have to have any mask. But it just, I don't know, I ended up just using a mask and it wasn't that big of a deal. It's pretty tedious, but these are just duplicates anyway, so I had to do it once through, and then it kind of applied to each 5 cans anyway, so it wasn't too bad. And then this is just to kind of get that like floating feel. It's just a loop out expression. If you haven't seen this, it's actually really, really handy. You just do 2 keyframes, and then if you do this loop out ping pong, it means it just goes back and forth between those keyframes infinitely. And if you do cycle, I believe, then it'll rotate back to the next one and go through. But for this, see, look how slow this is working. So that's what this pre-comp is for, and then you go even further through. So I had to do those 2 pre-comps for each can, as you can imagine, and that's what these are. So each of these loops just has the ping pong. So then once they're in here, then I can go through, and these keyframes, let's see, top view. Yeah, so these keyframes, these 4 keyframes you see right here, you can see this is a top-down view, so they're actually in the Z-axis. So if you kind of scroll through here, you can see, I think we're following, yeah, the orange can right now. You can see it's back there. Let's let it load for a second. So that's the same. This and this are the same position, and it just goes like that all the way around. So that's how you get that actual 3D feel where the cans are going behind each other. So that was just for to make sure I could make it all work. And again, this is why it's going so slow. There's just a lot going on. And that was the same thing. I could just copy and paste the keyframes and just offset them. I think I did 24 seconds or 24 frames, yeah. And that's the math I worked out to have them go, I think, a 4-second loop or something like that. I don't remember exactly. So yeah, anyway, that was kind of the default. So now I just have this base of cans rotating. And then from this, I can adjust keyframes and timing to make them spin fast when I swipe, and then stop when they're not being swiped. So that's why this is called LaCroix wheel default. And then I'm really bad at naming, but I just said wheel. So this is the one where they actually are timed to the spinning. And you can kind of see here already, these little keyframes are when they spin, and then this is a hold keyframe right here. And that makes them stop. So they're spinning, spinning, spinning really fast, stop. And then they'll just stay in position. And I'm talking a lot about keyframes, and if you haven't seen, those are keyframes. It's a tattoo, because I literally use keyframes so much that I was just like, alright. So yeah, it starts out, this is the one that drops. I believe I have a mango drop, and that was just by chance. That was just the one that was in the position, so I just said, alright, let's go with that one. And then from there, the cans kind of spin out of it. Oh, God, I wish it was going faster. This is the very first test I did, I think, just getting the drop and then the initial spin out. One big thing I did was have I think maybe my 3rd test or so, I actually had the mango twitch a little bit when I hit it, which makes sense because it's supposed to be floating a little bit. Yep. And then they come out. And I was almost happy with how smooth it was. I feel like by the end I adjusted the keyframes a little bit to get that rotation a little bit smoother. But for there, I was happy. And then it looks like this test was just the swiping motion, see how fast I wanted it to actually rotate, because I'm swiping kind of aggressively. So originally I was planning on having them just move one position, with a swipe, but then I ended up doing 1 and a 5th, just because of how aggressive I was swiping. It made more sense. And then it would just matter, I got 1 can, now I just, kind of similar to what I did before, is offset them. And so basically what this is, these are the keyframes, and these are easy E's if you don't know, and then this is linear right here. So at the beginning they're easy E's to kind of get that fluid in, and then the intermittent keyframes are linear because now they're rotating, and then we have the fluid out to the hold, and that's what this little dot is. This indent to the block is an easy in to hold, which is kind of to make it a little bit smoother. But essentially these keyframes, if you can see, it's alright, so peach pear starts in that position and then is going to end in the mango position. So that basically means that this keyframe is the same as the beginning of the mango keyframe. As you can see, so mango, and then it turns into peach pear. So it's kind of a matter of just literally copying and pasting, and then just pasting them on the layer below. So orange is there, and is originally in the position of lemon. So you just take the lemon and copy and paste down. So they look like they're the same, but they're actually just all whole different position, and that's kind of how you get that. And then this little guy right here just applies motion blur. So without it, it would look really weird. They would just be completely, it wouldn't look like real life basically, because they would be completely clear images, but they're moving really fast, so it doesn't make sense, because when you move something, it's motion blur. This calculates depending on your frame rate of the composition. It calculates how much motion blur to get it. I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of the basis of it, and then, like I said, it's just kind of a matter of looking back at the original composition, and then I just find, I find the frame where I end up swiping, and then it keeps the playhead at the same time, so then you can just go over to wheel, and alright, right there, I need to start the spin. So this is the start of a spin, and if you go back to main, you see my finger just swiped. So that's how you kind of line it up, and then, like I said, it was just kind of the same timing, just a matter of copying and pasting, depending on the position of each of them. And then, yeah, so I think this is the one where I grab it, and that's why I have, boom, it disappears. So if you go to right here, and you go back to main, that is one frame before the real one disappears, and that's where the cut, again, in the footage is made. So they all are on different compositions but line up. And that's kind of the whole deal with After Effects, is having all these nested compositions. And there's all this crazy stuff, but it really all works together. And these last keyframes, just simple spin up and out. There's like keyframes in each composition affecting the same stuff. So here the cans are individually spinning, and then in main I just look, and then this is just a position keyframe right here, going from where they are, and then they just go up and then out. And again, easy ease, keeps it natural. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. The rest is just simple me sipping my acting skills, But maybe eventually I'll put a LaCroix logo on there if I'm like really trying to call them out. This obviously wasn't a kendama video, but I feel like a lot of the same ideas apply to kendama and to everything, and that's kind of where I found my love for this stuff, is through kendama, and now obviously I'm applying it to other stuff. And honestly, very similar size and idea between a can and a kendama. They're still like small little products that I enjoy making videos about. So yeah, I need to think of like a stupid YouTube outro for these. I'm actually curious to see if people actually watch this or care about this. I'm not really sure about if I should make them shorter or longer or go into more detail or less detail. I feel like the audience for this kind of stuff is pretty small in terms of like the kendama community. But it was fun to make, so let me know if you want more of these. Maybe I'll do one about my kendama edit. I could do one for like an edit 3 or something, one of the more complicated ones. I could run through those if people actually care. So yeah, let me know. Peace. Bye, bye, bye.